If working harder hasn't made you freer, this audiobook is for you. Every day, millions of people wake up early, rush through traffic, sit behind desks, and trade their time for a paycheck, believing that consistency and effort will eventually lead to freedom. They work hard, follow the rules, and do what they were told would create a better life. But for most people, it never does. The truth is simple and uncomfortable. The 9-to-5 system was not designed to give you freedom. It was designed to give you stability, predictability, and control. It rewards showing up, not thinking independently. It values time spent, not value created. And the most expensive thing you give away every single day is not money. It is time. Time is the one asset you can never recover. You can lose money and earn it back. You can fail and start again. But every hour you trade away is gone forever. Yet most people give away their best hours building someone else's vision, while their own dreams are postponed to evenings, weekends, or a future that never quite arrives. What most people don't realize is that the world has already changed. The Internet has completely transformed how wealth is created. For the first time in history, income is no longer tied to a location, a boss, or a fixed schedule. One person with focus and the right strategy can create digital assets that generate value day and night without asking for permission and without waiting decades. This audiobook is not about hype or shortcuts. It is not about getting rich overnight or chasing unrealistic promises. It is about clarity. Clarity about why the traditional path keeps you stuck. Clarity about how people actually build wealth online. And clarity about how you can start creating leverage even if you are still working a 9-to-5 today. You do not need to quit your job right now. You do not need to take reckless risks. But you do need to understand the system you are in. Because once you see the rules clearly, you gain the power to choose a different path. And that is where your escape from the 9-to-5 grind truly begins. Most people believe that the reason they feel stuck in life is personal. They think they are not smart enough, not motivated enough, or not disciplined enough. But in reality, the feeling of being trapped has very little to do with who you are as a person. It has everything to do with the system you are in. The modern 9-to-5 model is built on a single exchange: time for money. You show up, you work for a set number of hours, and you are paid based on how much time you give away. On the surface, this feels fair. You put in effort, and you get rewarded. But over time, this exchange quietly places a ceiling on your life. There are only so many hours in a day. No matter how skilled you become or how hard you work, your income is limited by the clock. When your income depends on your presence, you can never fully step away. Miss a day, and you lose money. Take a break, and your income stops. This is not freedom. It is dependency. What makes this trap even more powerful is that it feels normal. Almost everyone around you is doing the same thing. Society praises hard work, long hours, and loyalty to a job, so the system rarely gets questioned. Instead, people blame themselves for feeling exhausted, unfulfilled, or behind in life. Another quiet force that keeps people stuck is inflation. Each year, the cost of living rises. Food, housing, transportation, healthcare, and education all become more expensive. But for most workers, salaries do not increase at the same pace. Even when you get a raise, it often only keeps you in the same place, or sometimes still pushes you backward. This creates a dangerous illusion of progress. On paper, you may be earning more than you did a few years ago, but in reality, your purchasing power stays the same or slowly shrinks. You work harder, earn more, and yet somehow feel like you are constantly catching up instead of moving forward. Over time, this gap creates pressure. People take on more responsibilities at work, chase promotions, or work overtime, believing that the next raise will finally bring relief. But the finish line keeps moving, and without realizing it, many people spend decades running in place. Then there is the promise of job security. For years, people were told that a stable job was the safest path in life. Work hard, stay loyal, and you will be taken care of. But the modern economy has quietly changed this story. Companies restructure, industries evolve, technology replaces roles. Decisions are made far away from the lives they affect. You can do everything right and still be laid off, replaced, or left behind. Job security often exists more as a belief than a guarantee. What makes this especially painful is that people organize their entire lives around this belief. They take on long-term commitments, loans, and responsibilities based on the assumption that their income is secure. When that income is threatened, fear takes over, and choices become limited. This fear is one of the strongest forces keeping people stuck. When your survival depends on a paycheck, risk feels dangerous. Exploration feels irresponsible. Even thinking differently feels uncomfortable. So people stay where they are, not because they are happy, but because leaving feels too risky. Over time, this creates a deep sense of being trapped, even if everything looks fine on the outside. People may have jobs, routines, and stable incomes, yet still feel restless, drained, or unfulfilled. They sense that something is missing, but they cannot clearly explain what it is. The reason is simple. Humans are not meant to live with all their time spoken for. When every hour already belongs to someone else, there is no space left to build something of your own. Dreams turn into distant ideas. Creativity fades. Life becomes a cycle of obligations instead of possibilities. Most people do not consciously choose this life. They slowly drift into it. A job becomes a career. A routine becomes a habit. Years pass, and the system becomes familiar, even when it feels limiting. Comfort replaces curiosity, and stability replaces growth. This is why the 9-to-5 keeps so many people stuck without them fully understanding why. It does not trap you all at once. It does so gradually, quietly, and politely. It gives just enough security to keep you from leaving, and just enough pressure to keep you from thriving. Understanding this is not meant to make you angry or fearful. It is meant to make you aware. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. Once you understand how the system works, you can stop blaming yourself and start thinking differently. And when your thinking changes, your options begin to expand. The difference between people who struggle financially and those who build lasting wealth is rarely intelligence, luck, or background. More often, it is mindset. Specifically, how they think about money, time, and effort. Internet millionaires do not focus only on income. They focus on assets. Income is what you earn when you are actively working. Assets are what continue to produce value even when you are not present. A salary is income. A digital product, a content channel, a software tool, or an online brand is an asset. This distinction changes everything. When your goal is income alone, you remain tied to effort and hours. When your goal becomes building assets, your work begins to compound. One piece of effort can create value repeatedly without needing to be done again. This is why internet millionaires spend their time differently. Instead of asking, "How can I earn more today?" they ask, "What can I build once that keeps working for me over time?" This shift alone separates those who feel stuck from those who steadily move forward. Another core principle of the internet millionaire mindset is leverage. Leverage means using tools, systems, and platforms to multiply your effort. In the past, leverage was reserved for large companies with big budgets. Today, leverage is available to anyone with an internet connection. Platforms allow one message, one product, or one idea to reach thousands or even millions of people. Automation allows processes to run without constant attention. Artificial intelligence allows individuals to create, design, write, and analyze at a level that once required entire teams. This does not mean internet millionaires work less. It means they work differently. They invest time up front to create systems that reduce effort later. They build once and benefit many times. This is the opposite of trading time for money. Long-term thinking is another defining trait. Internet millionaires are rarely obsessed with quick wins. They understand that meaningful results take time to develop. They are willing to be unseen at the beginning, to build quietly, and to let progress compound. They do not panic when results are slow in the early stages. They expect it. They understand that most value is created after a period of consistent effort, not immediate success. While others quit because they do not see instant rewards, they continue because they are focused on where the process leads. This long-term perspective protects them from distraction. Instead of chasing every new opportunity, they commit to one direction and improve it steadily. They know that depth creates leverage and mastery creates momentum. Consistency plays a larger role than talent in this process. Many people believe success comes from being gifted, creative, or unusually intelligent. But in reality, consistency outperforms talent over time. Showing up regularly, improving slightly each day, and staying focused produces results that sporadic brilliance never does. Internet millionaires understand this deeply. They are not always the most talented people in the room, but they are often the most persistent. They keep publishing when no one is watching. They keep refining when progress feels slow. They keep building when others move on. Consistency creates trust, skill, and momentum. It allows small efforts to stack up into something meaningful. Over time, what once felt insignificant becomes powerful. This mindset is not about working endlessly or sacrificing your life. It is about aligning effort with leverage, patience, and ownership. It is about choosing actions that compound rather than exhaust. When you begin to think this way, your relationship with work changes. You stop chasing income and start building value. You stop depending on time and start creating systems. And instead of hoping for freedom someday, you begin laying the foundation for it deliberately. This is the mindset that turns the internet into an opportunity rather than a distraction. And it is the mindset that makes escaping the 9-to-5 possible. One of the biggest reasons people fail to make money online is not lack of opportunity. It is lack of focus. The internet offers more ways to earn than ever before, but that abundance often becomes a distraction rather than an advantage. Many people jump from one idea to another. They start a channel, abandon it, try affiliate marketing, quit, then explore another model, hoping the next one will finally work. Over time, effort gets scattered, momentum disappears, and frustration grows. The truth is simpler than it looks. You do not need 10 income streams. You do not need to master everything. You only need one clear path and the commitment to follow it long enough for results to appear. Choosing one online income path is not about limiting yourself. It is about giving your energy a direction. Focus allows learning to compound. It allows skills to deepen, and it allows progress to become visible. There are several proven online income paths, and none of them are secrets. What matters is not which one you choose, but how consistently you apply yourself to it. Digital products are one of the most powerful paths because they turn knowledge into assets. Ebooks, audiobooks, templates, guides, and courses can be created once and sold repeatedly. You do not need to be an expert. You only need to solve a specific problem for a specific group of people. Over time, digital products create leverage because they separate effort from income. Content monetization is another widely used path. Platforms like YouTube and blogs allow people to build audiences around topics they care about. Monetization comes through ads, sponsorships, products, and services. This path rewards patience and consistency. Growth is slow at the beginning, but once momentum builds, content can generate income long after it is published. Affiliate marketing focuses on promoting other people's products and earning a commission on sales. This path works best when built on trust. Instead of pushing random offers, successful affiliates educate, review, and recommend products they genuinely understand. The value comes from helping people make decisions, not from aggressive selling. Freelancing, combined with artificial intelligence, is a modern evolution of online work. Writing, design, video editing, research, and automation can now be done faster and at higher quality with AI tools. This allows individuals to offer services that once required teams. It is one of the fastest ways to earn online income while building skills that can later be scaled into assets. Print on demand allows creators to sell physical products without managing inventory. Designs are uploaded, and products are printed and shipped only when an order is made. This reduces risk and upfront cost. Success in this path depends on understanding niches, trends, and audience interests rather than artistic perfection. Online services include consulting, coaching, agency work, and specialized support. This path is often overlooked, yet it is one of the most reliable. People pay for clarity, problem solving, and execution. Over time, services can be productized, automated, or scaled into systems that reduce direct involvement. Each of these paths works. Each has created financial freedom for ordinary people. The mistake is not choosing the wrong one. The mistake is never choosing at all. The right path for you depends on your time, your interests, and your willingness to learn. Some paths require patience. Others require communication skills. Some require creativity, while others require structure. There is no perfect option, only the one you are willing to commit to. Once you choose, the most important decision is to stay. Progress often feels slow at first. Results may be invisible. But consistency turns confusion into clarity. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, and what once felt impossible begins to feel normal. Choosing one path is how momentum begins. It is how effort compounds. And it is how the internet stops being noise and starts becoming an opportunity. Most people believe the goal of starting online is to make a lot of money as quickly as possible. They imagine large numbers, overnight success, and sudden freedom. But the real milestone is much smaller and far more important. Your first dollar matters more than your first 1,000. That first dollar is proof. Proof that someone, somewhere, found value in what you created. It changes your mindset from hoping to knowing. Once money enters the equation, even in the smallest amount, the internet stops feeling theoretical and starts feeling real. The first dollar breaks the mental barrier that keeps most people stuck. It proves that income can exist outside a paycheck. It builds confidence, momentum, and belief. From that moment on, growth becomes a question of refinement, not possibility. To reach that first dollar, you must shift your focus away from money itself and toward problems. Money flows toward solutions. People pay when something saves them time, reduces confusion, or helps them move forward. The size of the payment is secondary to the clarity of the solution. Many beginners chase ideas they think will make money instead of listening for problems that already exist. But the internet is full of people searching for answers. When you help them solve something specific, you create value naturally. Your experiences, skills, and lessons are more useful than you think. You do not need to be an expert at the highest level. You only need to be a few steps ahead of someone else. Knowledge becomes powerful when it is organized, simplified, and shared clearly. This is where packaging comes in. Packaging knowledge means turning what you know into something usable. A checklist, a short guide, a template, an audiobook, a tutorial. These are not complicated products. They are structured solutions. Packaging forces clarity. It takes scattered thoughts and turns them into something concrete. It allows people to consume your knowledge without confusion. And once packaged, your effort can be delivered again and again without repeating the work. Speed matters more than perfection at this stage. Many people delay starting because they want everything to be flawless. They overthink design, wording, and presentation. But perfection is often just fear in disguise. The market does not reward perfect ideas. It rewards useful ones. The faster you put something into the world, the faster you receive feedback. Feedback shows you what works, what doesn't, and what to improve next. Your first digital asset does not need to be impressive. It needs to be helpful. Improvement comes through action, not waiting. Momentum comes from movement, not planning. Building your first digital asset is less about income and more about identity. It is the moment you stop seeing yourself only as a consumer and start seeing yourself as a creator. It is the moment you realize that value can flow from you, not just to you. Once you create one asset, the process becomes clearer. The second is easier. The third is faster. Over time, small digital assets stack into something meaningful. This is how freedom is built. Not through massive leaps, but through small, deliberate steps taken consistently. And it all begins with the decision to create something imperfect and put it into the world. For many people, artificial intelligence feels intimidating. They see it as something technical, complex, or reserved for experts. Others fear it, believing it will replace creativity or eliminate opportunity. But for those who understand it, AI represents something very different. AI is not a replacement. It is a multiplier. It does not remove the need for thinking, creativity, or judgment. It amplifies them. It allows one person to do what once required a team, and it allows beginners to move at a pace that was previously impossible. One of the most powerful ways AI helps is through writing. Whether it is creating product descriptions, scripts, emails, or outlines, AI speeds up the blank page. Instead of struggling to start, you refine, guide, and improve. This removes friction and keeps momentum alive. Creating content becomes more manageable with AI. Ideas can be generated, organized, and repurposed efficiently. Long-form content can be broken into shorter pieces. Concepts can be clarified. What once took days can now take hours, allowing consistency without burnout. Designing products is another area where AI changes the game. Visuals, layouts, branding elements, and basic design tasks no longer require expensive software or years of experience. AI-assisted tools allow creators to focus on clarity and usefulness rather than technical perfection. Automation ties everything together. Tasks that once demanded constant attention can now run quietly in the background. Emails can be scheduled. Files can be organized. Systems can respond automatically. Automation frees time, and time is the foundation of leverage. The most important shift is understanding that AI works best when guided by human intent. It responds to direction. It improves with feedback. The clearer you're thinking, the more powerful the output becomes. This is why small creators now compete with large organizations, not because they have more resources, but because they use tools intelligently. Speed, adaptability, and focus replace size and budget. AI removes excuses. You no longer need a big team, advanced skills, or large capital to start. What you need is clarity, consistency, and the willingness to learn as you go. When used correctly, AI shortens the distance between idea and execution. It allows experimentation without high risk. It turns effort into output more efficiently. This is not about working faster for the sake of speed. It is about freeing your energy for higher-level thinking, planning, improving, building assets that last. When you embrace AI as a tool rather than a threat, you stop feeling behind and start feeling capable. You realize that the playing field has leveled, and with the right focus, you can move forward without waiting for permission or resources you do not have. Escaping the 9-to-5 is not a dramatic moment. It is not a sudden leap or an emotional decision. For most people who succeed, it is a quiet, deliberate process built over time. The smartest way to build freedom is to do it quietly. You do not need to announce your plans or seek validation. You do not need to explain yourself to people who are not on the same path. Quiet building protects your focus and reduces unnecessary pressure. While you are still employed, your job can serve a purpose. It can fund your experiments. It can remove desperation from your decisions. When your basic needs are covered, you gain the mental space to think long-term and act strategically. As your online income begins to grow, reinvesting becomes more important than spending. Early profits are not a reward. They are fuel. Reinvesting into better tools, education, systems, or promotion accelerates growth and strengthens your foundation. This phase requires patience. It is tempting to treat early success as a signal to quit immediately, but emotional decisions often lead to unnecessary stress. Stability gives you leverage. Leverage gives you options. Knowing when not to quit your job is just as important as knowing when to leave. If your online income is inconsistent, unpredictable, or dependent on constant effort, it is usually too early. Freedom is not the absence of work. It is the presence of choice. The goal is predictable income. Income that arrives with regularity. Income that does not collapse if you step away for a short time. This predictability creates confidence. It turns uncertainty into strategy. Predictable income is built through systems. Systems create consistency. Whether it is through digital products, content, services, or automation, systems reduce reliance on daily effort and increase stability. Over time, your side project begins to feel less fragile. Revenue patterns become clearer. Decisions become easier. Fear fades and confidence grows. The moment to exit the 9-to-5 is not when you feel brave. It is when your systems can support you, when your income can cover your needs, when you have tested your ability to adapt. Leaving too early replaces one form of pressure with another. Leaving at the right time replaces pressure with possibility. Your exit strategy is not about escaping work. It is about designing a life where your time belongs to you, where effort builds assets, where income is not tied to permission. When you follow this path with patience and clarity, freedom becomes less of a dream and more of a direction. And step by step, that direction leads you out of the 9-to-5 and into ownership of your time.